All right, Tom. Well, this is a fun topic. Let's kind of dive right in here, too. So, one of the things I mentioned just a moment ago, I feel a lot of folks feel that I feel a lot of folks think that the website is primarily just like a virtual billboard, and it's a place to capture leads. So, we talk about those aspects of how a website can contribute and do things. I think that's kind of the baseline. It's kind of like the free one. Like, yeah, well, that's kind of what it does. And we know between you and me, because we talk about this a lot, that there's more to it. But I think a great place to start here is, the kind of the difference in lead generation when you have just, you know, I don't know, a crappy website versus one that's really put together with strategy, right? Thinking
Right.
about what is you're trying to achieve. I mean, is it is it really possible for somebody to invest a lot on their website and then get, you know, even better leads than they might ordinarily?
Absolutely. Really, the bottom line is that um, what we've seen historically is that the results we get out of our marketing efforts are very much hinge entirely on how much strategy we use. So if we go into it really with a half-baked plan and just hope for the best, that does not tend to produce dividends. However, if we really think carefully through what we're doing, um, and align the content, everything very strategically toward those goals, and do it in a measurable way, you can get very tangible return on investment. And the difference is literally the difference between losing lots of money and making lots of money.
Well, which one would you rather do, Tom? I don't know. Here's the $1 million question.
So strategy helps, I guess, is in a competitive environment, you want to hedge your bets however you can, and that's one way you can is by using good strategy.
What are some of the ways that strategy can play out? I mean, um, I feel like off the top of my head, is pre-qualifying, is that somehow fit in that? We've talked to here about like calls to an action and stuff. Maybe that's some of those areas you think that can play out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that strategy in the context of a website comes down to identifying what it is you're trying to do with your business, and then thinking carefully through how the ways that your website can aid in meeting those goals. And there are a lot of different strategies that you can use, including what you just described. But I think in essence, they really are, in a nutshell, it is to speak good human communication that is authentic and compelling, to the target audience you're trying to serve, and that really is, it is in essence the strategy that gets results.
A strategy that probably shouldn't be an option, right? I mean,
Absolutely not.
should we use good human communication, or should we just kind of throw something up there? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it seems obvious, but it didn't even come obvious to us necessarily.
Well, certainly, if I feel it's certain, maybe it isn't for most folks. So maybe that's why we should talk about it is, if you just kind of throw a website together, maybe you hire some company, they're just going to farm all the work out overseas. They don't even understand your business, much less, for the language you speak, might be a second language for them. There's going to be all kinds of potential issues that could come out of that. And if that's your website is being built by those kind of people, I'm not saying those are bad people. Like, they're probably great people, very professional, but those are challenges, right? And so what comes out of that, do you end up with a website, when we talk about a quality website, one that speaks to your unique selling proposition well, that helps people very quickly and accurately understand, how you differentiate from your competitors. And so I guess when we talk about pre-qualifying, the more rapidly people can determine, hey, am I in the right spot? Am I in the right place? They can take that action to become a lead, a new opportunity, right? They fill out a contact form, maybe call over the phone. And so, lead generation, it's one of those first and most basic things like a website can do for you. All of a sudden now it's not just like, oh man, have a website, get leads. It's like, well, have a website, maybe get some leads, have a great website, get a lot of leads for really great opportunities.
No, that's a really good point, David. And I apologize for not answering your question about about pre-qualification. Pre-qualification is huge, because anybody can get you lots of, not anybody, but there are many places where you can get someone that will get more traffic to your site. Mm-hmm. But if that traffic isn't your potential customers, it doesn't do you any good, or it has very limited value. And at the point where you really do get a lot of, as you're getting lots of leads to your site, whether they're great leads or not great leads, pre-qualification becomes essential to how you control the amount of effort that you put in to field those leads. That if you're getting 50 spam leads a day, you're going to spend a lot of time weeding out people that where you could have used some degree of automation on the web to let them pre-qualify themselves.
Yeah. So number one, why your website has more value than you might think is being able to better pre-qualify potential customers and to get more higher quality leads coming your way. So that's a great one. Another way that your website, and this is another probably kind of obvious one, that your website has value and can be very valuable is direct sales, like actually selling things online through your website, e-commerce. Yeah, that's a thing, right? I mean, it almost goes without saying, but we do a lot of web development, right, Tom? So we see a lot of e-commerce sites. We see some that are just, hey, it's pretty good. And some of them are like, whoa, that's not so good. There's a lot of ways you can mess things up. There's a lot of ways that you can, not have everything tuned up so that flow through your commerce website is smooth and people are just basically throwing money at you. So I wonder, Tom, if you think about in your experience when it comes to e-commerce sites, is there anything that stands out to you as kind of like those, examples of things where people have just not done stuff as well as they should have, and they're ultimately just missing out on money, through direct selling on an e-commerce site, things that they just should have done better?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think there's a tendency for people to start very grassroots because they can, because the world, they are starting in business in many cases, but who wants to spend money they don't have to, especially if you're a young business. And so there are a ton of really bad e-commerce sites, and they're bad because in many cases, because people are trying to save money, and that mindset of saving money will cost you more profit in the long run than probably any mindset you could possibly ever have. That really what should be done is to think very similarly to how I described on the website, is to hedge your bets strategically with regard to who is it that you're communicating with, who do you want to sell these things to, how do you communicate that you have them and connect with them, and then how do you engage and take the next step. So that's really the bottom line, is making it extremely easy so that you can attract people and turn over sales quickly, and take advantage of that automated component. And this area that you're talking about, e-commerce, represents the largest value driver when it comes to a website. That marketing is really great, and that is why most people have a website. But if you have a web presence that actually automates the generation of money through an e-commerce store or a software as a service offering, or an application, things like that, you've eliminated the manual effort, or have reduced drastically the amount of manual effort necessary on the back end to generate those revenues. And so the profit potential is vast, which is why people will pay arguably fairly large software development prices to build something of their own, is because the gain is almost infinite.
Kind of like a money tree.
Like a money tree.
I would love to plant a forest of those.
Hi, this is Sarah from Denver Data Web. Thanks for watching. Please like our video and subscribe for future digital strategy chats. You can also visit our website at denverdata.com or find us on social media at Denver Data Web.